Hey Legionnaires, and welcome back. We're here with another Rise of Empires battle for you here today, and we have a multiplayer battle here between Britain and France here at Blenheim. It's actually the actually a custom map made for Blenheim here, so this is I guess relatively historically accurate. Is this is sort of like the landscape and sort of like the layout of the battle here today. I don't really know much about this period, so I'm going to go off the word of the devs. It's not a historical battle though, mainly because well, we don't have all of the Grand Alliance here that basically faces down against France and Bavaria. We don't have Bavaria with the French either, but yeah, technically those at the Battle of Blenheim consisted of England or Britain at that point, Austria, the Dutch, and the Prussians. So some pretty huge major powers all combining together there to take on France and Bavaria. And really, Bavaria's a lesser power. It's really just to try and stop France. Historically, obviously, the battle was a victory for the Grand Alliance and just stopped French domination in Europe. Both sides are pretty well matched as well, with about 50,000 troops. It's a 100,000 man battle for the times as well, so like literally just the turn of like the 18th century, 1704. Pretty big old battle, that's sure. It was, yeah, the decisive battle of sort of like the Spanish Succession, War of Spanish Succession. But it looks like, I was going to say, it looked like it was kind of hotting up. The Brits had moved quite a long way and got a lot closer, but they've all of a sudden just stopped themselves here, so it doesn't look like anything's going to be taking place just now. But yeah, if you are new to Rise of Empires, while we wait for the Brits to do some stuff, if you're new to Rise of Empires, it's for Shogun 2 Total War. It's not Empire. Loads of people keep going, oh, this looks like Empire 2 or something like that. It's like, no, this is an entirely different mod. It's Rise of Empires 1700. And it's a mod for Shogun 2, set obviously in sort of like around the years 1700 as the War of Spanish Succession is getting underway. And I have now installed all the mods correctly and all the submods. Apparently, the version I had was not quite correct. So we actually now can see the Arnfelt Regiment of Cuirassiers, and we can see them instead of Samurai instead. So basically, it was just messing with a few models. It didn't really affect the replay too much, but at least we got them. I'm guessing these are another sort of like Hanoverian, sort of like, or Germanic type unit. They're just fighting for the Brits. It seems like there's loads at this time. We also do have a different general. We have James Butler, the 2nd Duke of Ormond. So very, very cool. We've got Holstein Regiment of Cuirassiers here. A lot of Cuirassiers over on this flank here. Look very, very nice. Not quite as fully armoured as they are going to be in about 100 years' time. And the 3rd Jutland Regiment of Cuirassiers again, looking a little bit. These are Dutch, that's for sure. What do we got over here? Jutland Cuirassiers again. So yeah, lots of heavies out on that flank there. That's going to be interesting to face off against the French, who often have some pretty solid cav. Chevaliers of the Rhine there. The Gendarmes Scots are a pretty good unit. Gendarmes Anglais. And Gendarmes de Garde. And then I presume, yeah, Grenadiers Cheval. That's usually the 5 that you see together there. There's 5 very good cav units, just all ready and waiting to just pour on to the British lines here. We'll see what they can get done. Who are the generals? Oh, actually, Louis Joseph here, Duke of Vendôme, already getting shot at. So that's unfortunate for him. Hopefully, he keeps his head down. And then we got another Duke of Vendôme over there. I don't think either of those are the commanders at this battle. Marlborough, who is at Blenheim historically, is here as well today. He's in the other British army. But yeah, it's the Duke of Tallard and the Count of Marsin, and are the sort of like the main French commanders. And then we Eugene of Savoy, who's not here because we don't have an Austria at this point. It's not. I don't think it's a faction available at this point. But yeah, John Churchill, 1st Duke of Marlborough. Yeah, the Brits here just dueling, artillery dueling right now with the French. France doesn't look like he's going to push across this way though. This is a big, big push over here. Supported by both infantry and cavalry moving here, and that looks like that's going to try and hit the British sort of flank. I mean, we're looking from the French perspective. We can see all of the French stuff. I don't know how much of the British stuff we can see. I'd say only a portion, so there might be more British stuff here. So I think, yeah, the French seem like they're taking it quite tentatively. They're going across with a couple of units here, and some good units as well. We've got the Guard of France here. being pushed across. Yeah, wow, we have a lot of regiments of the Guard of France all being thrown in. That's 4 units. 4 units? Okay, no, 3 units of guards and then another unit of just basic infantry. Yeah, see, I mean, I would have thought by now they would have seen some British troops if there's any more on this flank, so there might not be. But I can't imagine that they're ending their flank. Maybe they are ending their flank with the Queen's Foot just here, but they're getting absolutely peppered. They need to sort of sit in this ditch and sort of just allow the cannon shots to fly over their heads, like at Waterloo, about 100 years later. But this is definitely up there with sort of Waterloo being one of Britain's most infamous battles, and yeah, being one of their most famous battles, really. Definitely is sort of like when Britain kind of shows that it can be both a power on land as well as at sea. But yeah, the French in this one lost about 30,000 troops, while the Allies lost around about 13,000 troops. It's kind of insane. All losses. Yeah, Marlborough also, I guess, getting himself into the category. Oh my gosh! They just set this fence on fire.
An ambush, General! An ambush!
Well, you need to sort your gun sights out, guys, because you're just hitting fence rather than French. But yeah, Marlborough definitely with this victory put himself into sort of like that category of sort of like some of Britain's greatest generals. And if Wellington had never come along, probably would have been Britain's greatest general, to be honest. And there we go. We're going to see some troops now being shifted out to the flank here. Prince Karl Regiment of Foot being shifted out there. So that kind of shows that Britain has nothing out here on this flank. So yeah, France has been able to cross very, very easily. Oh my gosh. Don't know if you guys could see that, but did you just see this Prince Karl Regiment of Foot just get absolutely just annihilated? Artillery just kind of flying through. I mean, most of them are getting up. They've only lost like 9 guys, but it's just like, just seeing the action of like 20, 30 guys getting knocked over. Look, there you go again. Oh my gosh, it's brutal. Keep playing those pipes, boys. You're going to need to raise morale. You get absolutely just shafted right now by artillery. But yeah, we've covered this mod quite a bit now. The developer's been sending in quite a lot of these replays. And if you want to get involved in playing this mod, best recommendation is to go and install the mods on ModDB now. You can get it there. And also join the Discord. I'll leave links for both. So you can sort of get involved. I'm seeing British infantry or cavalry getting really right in their face here. What is going on? Cuirassiers are dashing for guns. They only lost 30 guys, which is still quite a lot, to be fair. But they are actually going to dash in and get it. I mean, they're a heavy cav. I would have thought they would not be able to get these guns, but they have. They've run all this way and they've managed to get these guns. And that's the first bit of action. Is Britain just... I feel like they kind of telegraphed what they're doing. They didn't actually rout the guns in the end. The cavalry routed. Funny number of 69 of them left. They did just kind of... I think they just kind of came straight head on at the guns. They kind of... Yeah, they peeled off from this section of cavalry hit, then just came in and went for the guns. Guns are going to be stuck in now the carriages are gone. But it doesn't really matter. They're in a pretty solid position. And... Oh, alright. I was going to say, why can I hear more, like, trumpets going off? It's because he's got a cheval over here. They're going to just run down those cavalry, I think. As are the French turning around infantry to shoot the cavalry to make sure it stays gone. Which is not a bad idea, to be fair. But that's the first bit of engagement. I think we're going to see more very, very shortly here. It looks like we're going to see some cavalry over on this side here being pulled back as well. Yeah, Jutland cuirassiers will be pulled back. And looks like Britain's, yeah, just generally going to turn his line here in a moment. Brave. These guys must be having a hot day's work. The first Grenadier Guards just sort of standing here, burning. But yeah, as you can see, yeah, they are falling back. There's a lot of British units here, just kind of stacked on top of each other. Gonna have to turn and face against this French player. France certainly seems like they have the numbers over the Brits. I mean, maybe just because we can't see all the British troops, like I said, but France is here, is pushing with a lot of troops, and then they could just make a like an offensive from like their actual front line here. They could just like push across and then just hit the Brits in the flank when they set up against this flanking force. I think France has got Britain in a pretty solid position, to be honest, right now. They are, yeah, looking very, very strong right now. But we've seen Britain before. They've made comebacks. They think, how have you done that, sir? How have you managed that? Yep, the boys in white here. The French yet to be in their blue uniforms that we're so used to seeing it with Napoleonics. Because they're still ruled by the Bourbons. They love a bit of white instead of red. White instead of red? White instead of blue. They actually like red quite a bit. There's quite a few of their cavalry units and their infantry units in red. Just to confuse things with the Brits. Yeah, we've got the Dragoons here. We've got some big units of Dragoons. I'm going to say, I feel like the British Dragoons are probably, if anything, just as good as their heavies, to be honest. And they're bigger units, 150-man units as well. They're big whoppers instead of 120 with these Jutland cuirassiers. My gosh, there's a lot of fire going on over here.
The damned enemy is damn.
Yeah, they're just falling back. Brits are not really setting up to really for battle at all. They're not in long thin lines. They're still in their columns. So whether they're just kind of going, well, we're just going to fall back, just hold this position. French player here taking an opportunity to go and get these guns. What's this? This is a Mestre D Camp General Dragoons. That's a new unit. Definitely not seen these guys before. And again in red. Look at that. And they got the classic Dragoon sort of hat, which kind of looks really floppy and silly. And the British guns are gone. They did a much better job there of taking out those guns rather than the Brits. And it looks like they're just going to carry on. I was going to say, just get back. Get back. I mean, they could carry on down this line. There's so much artillery over here for the Brits. It looks like he's going to get limbered up in a moment. Looks like he's being pulled forward, actually. Look at how much artillery is over here. This is an insane amount of artillery. This whole entire British army might just be made up of artillery. It still goes on. What's that? Let's actually count all the guns. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 4 for each one. So there's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So 28 guns facing onto this French flank over here. That is an insane amount of artillery. France is usually known for its artillery. Britain, not so much. That is insane. Napoleon would be proud of that battery. An incredible battery. We've got some more over here, but not part of that grand battery that's been formed by the Brits, that's for sure. Seems to be a lot of running going on. Don't know if that's a really good idea. I feel like in Rise of Empires, it's a bit like sort of NTW3 and DEI. DEI less so, because I don't know. I just feel like you can run around a little bit more in DEI. But certainly in NTW3, running, you just exhaust your troops. You kind of then punish your troops because then they have lower morale because they're tired or exhausted. They don't want to fight because they're tired and exhausted. So this player here running all of his musketeers and regiments of foot over to the flank. I mean, there's no real rush unless you feel like you need to get sort of onto the similar sort of like high ground that the French are on. Because I was going to say, the French are not moving. No need to run. But yeah, maybe it doesn't matter so much. Maybe it does. I was going to say, these guys are all active. They're not fresh. They've been active since they've started sprinting. Winded now. Yeah, they're all just going to winded. So yeah, they don't want to really go much more than that. Also, this guy keeps shouting ambush. Like, okay, I get it. There's an ambush going on. I actually going to see some brave Brits being pushed forward here. We've got the Irish regiment being sent in first, and His Majesty's Royal Regiment of Foot there. Set in the Irish first. The Brits don't need to get on with the Irish this time. I mean, we arguably still don't, maybe. But yeah, send in the Irish first before you send in the actual Brits, like the Foot Guards here. You know, actual British troops and the Grenadier Guards. But yeah, these are tiny little units here, actually. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here's a push from Britain on this left flank. They're really fancying it here. There you go. On this right flank, Britain's definitely going to be playing very much a defensive game. But on the left, looks like Britain's going to be very, very aggressive. We're seeing Foot Guards, Grenadier Guards all moving forward. A whole bunch of line infantry here as well, made up of, it looks like a lot of Danish troops, to be honest. But yes, Danish and Germans with the Oldenburg boys. Yeah, if you want to see more of this mod, then do let me know. You guys seem to have really received it really well, which is great because I have been really thoroughly enjoying showing it off. Yeah, I think maybe I'm gonna. I was gonna say maybe make a cut, but like each time I would go, oh, make a cut. The British or the French charge a cavalry unit in. Looks like it is about to just about to start spicing up. We might be about to see some volley fire take place soon. This this British army is getting very close to the French. And on the left, like I said, they are advancing quite rapidly. Certainly don't think France is yet set up for this. I feel like they've not got their cav in the right positions. It's quite a lot of it's in the rear. Or to be honest, well, Britain's got it all stacked up on this sort of far flank here. They could strike. None of these units can form square as well, so everything's vulnerable to a cav charge. And cav charges are brutal in Rise of Empires. They really are. As well, for those of you that don't like playing multiplayer, there is going to be a campaign for Rise of Empire. It's made by the same guys that do Pike and Shot. Pike and Shot, I don't know if it's ever going to get a campaign. I don't think it's prioritized. But I do know that this mod is going to be getting a campaign. Maybe starting with like a Great Northern War campaign between like the Swedes and the Russians before doing a larger sort of actual campaign. Grand campaign. And here we go. The first volleys are getting underway. Go on, Britain. For King and Country. Though these guys aren't really British. And they might be fighting for King and Country, but for a different king and a different country. There you go, first sort of volleys going away. They're also in white as well. Let's just equally confuse things. The Vendôme regiment here. They're going to be the guys holding the line. And then we've got the regiment Lessard here for some reason crossing every French unit. Maybe they're going to go for a charge. I don't know whether these units here, like the regiment Lessard and the Vendôme regiment and stuff, I hope they have different stats in a way. Like maybe like being slightly better at morale, like have slightly better morale, slightly better melee or something like that. It'd be good to see. Otherwise, you might as well just have like British line infantry. I think we're going to see a charge here. I generally do. I think Britain's not slowing down. I think he's going to go in. Bayonets are about to twirl. Oh, they're just going to get... No, they're going to get right in the face of the French. This kind of reminds me of like the Patriot. If you've seen that movie. So like the Americans fire early. And then like the Brits keep advancing. They take their losses. They don't care about that. And then they get really close. They get a brutal volley off. And then that basically sends the Americans packing. And it is around that time, sort of like... We are in that sort of like, you know, the redcoats are coming. Got a few more years yet. That was not a very inspiring volley, I'm not going to lie, fellas. You're going to need to do better than that. Like, some of the details on these units are great. Like, look at the back of these, like, jackets here. Awesome. Also, the officer not quite in the front line. Oh, no, maybe he is in the front line. No, this is a guy with a pike. There's a guy in the pike. I'm actually being the guy with the pike. He's just like, oh, great. I've got to deal with the... Got to deal with a musket fire. And I've just got a pike. I guess you could throw your pike. A one-hit kill. Oh, and there has been an engagement over here. I'm yapping about pikes. And France has gone in here with his dragoons. To be fair, the Queen's Regiment of Foot, they're kind of taking it pretty well right now. Though we are going to see Vendôme Regiment here back this up. Bayonet charge. I'm guessing this is absolutely fine. It's not blobbing. I don't know if they have the same sort of rule set as NTW3. If there is really a rule set for what you can and can't do. But they're sending in infantry. Support their cavalry. It's always a good idea. Cavalry always needs support of infantry. Napoleon will tell you that. And he's going to rout these boys. And that will start a bit of a chain reaction. Like in Pike and Shot. Like in NTW3. These sorts of things, you know, it infects you. Once one routes, the next unit you can see here, Royal Irish Regiment, they're redlining already. That is not good. Over on the other flank, though, there's another major engagement taking place. And that looks like that is not going well for the Brits either. We've got the Gendarmes de Garde du Roi. They're going in there routing some Prince Carl Regiment over here. I don't know, actually. Maybe Britain's winning that? Britain might be winning this one just about, actually. But he's going to still lose infantry as he goes. His General, James Butler here, very close to dying. And I think that's why sort of Britain sort of came out on top, partly. He's not done yet. If this Gendarme of the Guard here gets back, they could probably finish this off. And Britain might be out of cav on his left flank very, very shortly. As... French cav just goes down his line here. French and British cavalry just going down his line. We've got the Irish regiment here setting up, trying to get some volleys off. Just try and stabilize the line. But yeah, Britain is in full retreat, you can say, on this right flank here. Got another whole line of infantry that are ready to go. Whether they can set up that secondary line, get a bit of a volley going. There you go, the guards going in. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Grenades! Grenades! Yeah, grenadiers, they throw grenades. It's kind of like in their name. But yeah, the 1st Regiment of the Grenadier Guards there just threw a whole bunch of grenades. I think that might have done more damage to them themselves than it has to the French. I have seen that happen more times than you think. Yeah, oh yeah, we had 2 units of Grenadier Guards here. They've all just kind of got in. Grenades twirling. That's brilliant. That was brilliant. We got a great view of that. As these guys in their mitre hats try and hold the line. big angry grenadiers. Britain's kind of like shredding the French here, though. Like, there's a lot of dead Frenchmen. These like guardsmen here, they are like under half strength. They're kind of doing some damage there, but it does not matter. Does not matter. They are absolutely getting like straight through the center here. The Grenadier Guards holding partially, but barely. The Cav's yet to go in as well. They've not acted with the Cav. I feel like they need some Cav to shift and support the center. Even their general should be there to support and sort of like organize. Oh dear, grenades going in. Is that Britain or France this time? Gonna go with that. This might be Britain again. Just throwing grenades left, right, and center. Just hitting their own troops. To be honest, they kind of look French, like I said. They're all in white. What a chaotic start to this fight. These battles are always a bit slow burn and people just, you know, getting into position. Once they get going, it is all action. It really is. The Grenadiers go in to sort of stiffen that line. The other ones over here still holding. They are literally encircled. Oh, they finally, as I said that, I think they just broke. They were literally encircled. That is impressive. These guys are firing whilst in melee, which is very cheeky. You get told off for doing that in NTW3. They might just hold that one. Oh, grenades going off. Oh my gosh, who's throwing their grenade? I don't know whether it's... It doesn't seem like they did any sort of action to show that they were throwing a grenade there. There are no grenadiers around here for the French, so it must be the Brits again. They are finally routing some units here. The Guard of France actually are giving in. Grenadiers, the Guard here, hold on along with the Oldenburg boys. Or the Danish boys. Might be one or the other. Holding on. Let's go see what's going on the other flank, because it is getting quite spicy on both sides here. Britain actually looks like he might have stabilized his flank here a little bit, and yeah, they've gone into melee here. Have the French and the Brits. Grenadier Cheval helping to rout some of these infantry here. They're the only French cav I think that's still standing. Not that Britain exactly is flush in cav either. More grenades going up. Oh my gosh. I'm going to guess again Britain, but I don't think the Grenadier Cheval have grenades. I'm going to trust they don't. There's 3 units of Grenadier Guards here. I don't know where the foot guards are gone, but they are still they're still alive, I presume. So many pipes going off. Oh, Britain has actually still got his cuirassiers here. Whether he can flank and sort of finish these guys off, if he can kill the Grenadier Cheval here with Britain, which he is actually doing, he might be able to turn this around on this flank here. Turn the fortunes in Britain. What are you doing, guys? Engage! For king and country! Oh my gosh, they're firing at point-blank range in a weird angle, that's for sure. There's a lot going on, so I can imagine micro is a little bit tough. Grenadier Guards breaking there. More now being sent in. You have so many units to like manage. The scale of these battles is huge, so I can understand like missing something or not setting something up properly. Here goes the British cavalry and French cav on this side here. Britain finally accepting he's probably going to do something. Try and turn this flank around. And, well, 60 points for anyone that knows who's who in that fight there. Everyone's red. I think that is British Dragoons taking on the Chevaliers, yeah, which for some reason are also in red. Britain, though, is losing these cav fights. The Jutland cuirassiers there routed. I mean, they charged into infantry whilst also being supported by cavalry. Did not go well. Gendarmes here being chasing off these Dragoons and these Jutland cuirassiers. And Britain definitely came second best now. I mean, it looks like they're going to get that Chevalier. Great. They traded a cav. But they needed to get a bit of a decisive blow there, did the British. Try and turn the fortunes of this battle around on this flank. Because, yeah, they're pretty short on infantry. And what's returning is pretty battered. And their cav, obviously, now looking a little worse for wear. I mean, that Chevalier's, you know, that's still routing, actually. I was going to say, I think that's returning. There you go, yeah. Right flank looking really good for France. Not so good on the left flank here. If we're looking from the British perspective, which we seem to be now, even though this was sent in by a French player. France is not doing so great here. Oh, no. These guys are wavering even before they've even been engaged. you go. It looks like the Vendôme Regiment are going to hold. Britain, though, is certainly on a warpath on this flank here, and they've routed more stuff. I don't know if that was cavalry or infantry that's routed there. They're getting rid of the Grenadier Cheval finally, and that is actually causing a mass rout in that sector there. That's all gone. The extreme left's gone. We're now going to see, it looks like, some of the Allied infantry here help rout the French. And what we've got here was this is all infantry as well, just side-shotting the French right now. And the French are being forced into an advance on the foot guards. This is not going to go well, I don't think, boys. The British foot guards. The guys who literally guard the palace.
Troopers, prepare to defend yourself.
These foot guards as well? No, they're just regiment of His Majesty. We've got the general in here. James Butler's still stuck in here with 22 of them left. He needs to be careful because actually Britain's nearly routing here. If they can get the cuirassiers in behind, that'll finish that job and they can then work their way down the line. Back over on the other flank. It's sort of stabilized here. It's just turned into a gunfight. Foot guards here. They're winning that fight, that gunfight, as you'd expect, to be honest. But yeah, finally, I was going to say, there you go. Cuirassiers, get rid of those infantry. Now they can work their way down the line here. Again, more the Regiment of the Tsar here, redlining. And yeah, France hasn't even thought to try and shift his line, try and just get out of this eventuality, or maybe just knows he can't get out of it. Here come the Jutland Cuirassiers into the backs of the French. Smashing through the lines. And there you go. I mean, it looks like they're going to rout the foot. They actually routed the foot guards impressively to the French. I guess it was a frontal volley right into their faces, got rid of them. They're still healthy. They should return. But the damage is done. The damage is done. The French left is gone. Actually, it's fully annihilated. I'm guessing that this is all one army here. It could be more than one, I guess. The general is still, Louis Joseph is still really far back for one of the French players. I think it must be for the one on the left. Probably why his morale so poor. But the French have started another assault here on the right. They've regathered up. These guys are just firing again in point blank range.
Our men are running for.
Keep holding the line, boys. Keep holding the line. It's thin red line. Actually, France is kind of struggling here a little bit. The Regiment of Navarre here. It looks like they're going to rout. They're getting shot whilst getting shot whilst in melee. Seems a bit cheesy from the British player. I don't know. I'd kind of be a bit pissed for the French. But look at this. French have a massive outflank right now on the Brits. I mean, there's cavalry the way, but there's infantry over here. It's just pushing. So the Cavs can keep being forced back. And that just puts this infantry all at threat, really. France sort of advancing here. I mean, Britain has the outflank on France here. I think he could just go down the line. You've got the Royal Irish Musketeers here. Don't know why they're trying to set up to be in line with the French. Just go down the line. Just go in, side shot, and then they can start to work their way down. And they might actually sort of be able to recover a little bit here, my Britain. They need to do it quick, because the centre again is getting broken. The Oldenburg boys being broken here. His Majesty Royal Foot fighting the French Guard over this fence. Bodies are piling up. I can see a lot of dead redcoats here. Just keep fighting on. I mean, these units are massive. Like 250, if not more. These units are just, yeah, vast. The casualties do mount up. Cav's actually shifting now to sort of into the center. I mean, we've actually just seen another cav charge there. They're trying to stop the infantry. Not a bad idea, charging into the massive infantry. It might work. Need support, really. One unit on its own, I don't think it's going to do the job. It's certainly going to slow the French down. Yeah, really, there you go. Routes. I don't know whether we're going to see Dragoons or just go through the center here. Looks like we are. They're going to try and charge the Regiment of Saint-Sulpice. Nope, they're going to just get accidentally engaged on the side of this French unit here. No, there you go. Order has been restored, and then they go charging in. This might change the battle a little bit. There's no real support if this unit is on its own. And they didn't get shot at either the British cavalry, so they might be able to get in. If they could back this up with infantry, Prince George infantry just sat there. Back that up, they might be able to do it. Marlborough's pretty much in the front line. France, sort of like on their left of center, well, sort of their, left of center. Britain's right of center. That's all shattered. Look at that. That's all gone. Britain's right is barely holding on. These boys need to dash over here ASAP and try and save the situation. The Regiment of Dragoons, they failed to break through the Saint-Sulpice unit. Like, Marlborough right now is scrambling for reserves. I don't know if double stacking units helps. Oh, Britain's here getting charged, getting jumped. That's not going to go well for him in a cav charge. I already think French cav's better than the British cav. Generally do. Like, I think it's a bit... Most times, 9 times out of 10, I've seen Britain lose most cav fights. They need either overwhelming numbers, or they need to get a good volley off with infantry first, or they just need to jump the French cav. A bit like France has just done here to Britain. Yeah, these guys are losing. I think bringing the Dragoons might be a better idea. You get a larger unit, whether that comes into it a little bit. These cuirasses certainly have done no good. We are going to see some of the Queen's Regiment of Foot being shifted here. And more reserves. Bring these guys in. Who cares if they're battered and bruised? This is the corner here. Absolutely, this unit here, this Weddenberg unit's on an angle. Side charge it, and they're also going into these other units here. Blasting. Hold the line. Hold the line. Yes, make ready. Stab with those bayonets. Look at that. France is going to rout there here, I think. I think you kind of want to side charge to get a chance. I mean, they said the French cav packing, but it's still very much in, like intact. You've got the guard, the Swiss guard over here. Another unit in red, the French, just to confuse things. And look at this. Britain's sort of like forces were over here and now shifting, and they are pushing on the French flank here. So now France is just, you know, he's in a race. He's got to try and defeat this force here around Marlborough, and soon. But his guys, they seem exhausted. I don't know if they're just out of puff. Royal Irish Musketeers moving on this final few units. And there's guns after that, though. They could be dangerous to just push head on. Oh, they all limbered. They look like they are. Well, some of them are limbered, some of them unlimbered. At least push on the ones that are limbered. Get them out of the way. France, they're making a futile stand with the Guard of France here. They are very concerned about losses. And also, I think, yeah, just worried that they're going to get outflanked here. And there you go, get routed. In goes one of the Louis Josephs. I think that's from the other army. He's going to go in and try and slow down the Brits. Charge! He fires his muskets first, his carbines. And they go, what are they going into? Oh, Royal Irish. Yeah, they'll hold. You'd at least hope they'd hold. Britain's broken there, though. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we're going to see a bit of a capitulation from the Brits here. Pushing on the head on into these guns, this musket line. They're kind of sort of stalling a little bit. France still not really made any progress, and actually Britain, if anything, is sort of restabilizing, getting another firing line ready.
Are running, sir.
And there you go, Louis gone. Louis Joseph, he's broken. And they battle over these guns here to the Brits and the French. Yeah, France now has the turn to fire whilst in melee. Britain just seems like he's desperately trying to get through. Not even engage in melee. Doesn't look like he is. He's just sort of like just run into them. But to think this used to be a game about samurai, you would not think it now. You think this is his own sort of game. You generally would. It looks great. Like, the devs have done an amazing job. I say the same with pike and shot. It's freakishly impressive how good they are at modding some of these guys. That whole push there's broken. Britain's going to need some more troops. I don't know where this British army's got to. Sightseeing is this guy. He's generally just so slow and getting forward, getting these guys to support. Just what Britain generally could turn this around and finish this off. Maybe should have been a little bit more patient with these 4 units here and just waited for these reinforcements. Possibly. We are seeing James Butler and the Cuirassiers. They're all getting in behind. They're all exhausted. We're seeing the other Louis Joseph being shifted as well to this far flank. And then the other one re-rallied, and he's going to go back into combat here with Cuirassiers. Honestly, either side could win this. Both are pretty exhausted. Both pretty battered. Does look like, though, because of having James Butler nearby, I guess. Looks like the Brits might win. Oh, no, maybe the Brits won't win it. Both are wavering now. And there you go. They won by the skin of their teeth. And there you go. That's that French general gone. Finally. Yeah, now sort of not a stalemate, but sort of like, you know, France is sort of reorganizing, stop pushing. That other British player is nearly here. And between the two of them, they might be able to just about overwhelm these French troops. But the French, you know, still decent, in a decent state, I feel like. They've got a lot of healthy infantry. Britain are battered, I feel like. A lot more battered than the French. Even though the French have been so aggressive. But yeah, like, so many of these units are still, like, over 200-man units. Grenadiers of the Guard of France still yet to go in as well, untouched. Whether they've used their grenades, I don't know. Yeah, another 200-man unit there from Vendôme. I mean, the Brits have got obviously some health units. Yeah, the Regiment of Grancy there has literally lost 2 men. Difference is, I mean, they've got Cav still, which I feel like Britain does not have Cav, really. I mean, they've got these Cuirassiers a little bit. Yeah, they've got a little bit left. I don't know. Maybe that's as much as the French have, really. They just seem so much better. Even in a weakened state, they just seem like they can just do so much damage. I mean, France, I feel like, should have been pushing. Maybe he just felt like he wasn't not going to break through Marlborough. Maybe he's going to try and take the defensive for a bit. Let the Brits sort of grind on him. Then maybe he'll start another offensive.
Here they come. Damned enemy is damned ambushed you, sir.
Yeah, it looks like both sides are going to take a little while to get into position. So we might just make a quick cut here until the next sort of bit of action takes place. So I don't think this British army is going to push quickly because he's got a lot of tired and winded troops here. So I think he's going to just sit back a little bit. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a moment, and I'll return when the next bit of action gets underway. We are back. It took a little bit of time, but the French and the British cavalry has got in, and I think Britain's going to lose its cav here. So yeah, Britain has moved forward. They press onto the French here, and they sent their cav in. Marlborough, I don't know if he was planned to be sent in as well. Oh, I don't know. Britain might. He needs to send Marlborough in, I think, actually, generally. He might need to risk his general here to win this. Morale's looking pretty good. The Brits, Marlborough is now being charged. He's running. And the French cav's redlining. Oh, this could be huge. If Britain can win this, they can start to maybe turn that flank. Even with a small amount of cav, it could be really problematic for the Brits, for the French. And there you go. Yeah, that goes the infantry, and I think the cavalry's gone as well. They need to now get their infantry, their cavalry out of there because the infantry is on the way. Vendôme regiment, they're charging him. What's this guy doing? Standing on his horse to fight. Impressive stuff. I'll give it that. Actually routed to that Vendôme regiment. That's insane. Barely engaged Marlborough there. There you go. First little bit of action. I thought maybe there's going to be a little bit more. Thought maybe Britain was going to push forward with his infantry. Like I said, this British army over here, still sightseeing. I don't know where its infantry are going. We've got so many good units out here. Well, I say so many. His Majesty's Royal Regiment of Foot. A pretty solid unit, in my opinion. Don't know what it's doing. I've got a lot that are now moving slowly into position, but they are taking their good old time. But this British army here is thin on the ground. I've actually just seen a very forlorn hope here from France. Chevalier has been dashed forward. Infantry now going in. I mean, this is a tiny line. I mean, France surely has looked at this and thought we can get through that line. And they absolutely can. Like, these units are thin on the ground. That's 91 men. And that's not a lot for this mod.
An ambush, General! An ambush!
And these are like big 200-man units that are left here. They're all going in. In they go. Can they smash through this thin line of non-Brits as well? They failed on that one. That regiment of SAR's broken. They might get through this one, though. This is going to be the thin line. Yeah, the Vettenberg boys here at 60 troops. Trying to hold the line here. Regiment of Normandy can send forward. If they can get the general in here, maybe to support in melee, you could do it. But yeah, France is making an all-out assault now. We've got the Regiment of the Guard of France leading the way. The Grenadiers of the Guard must be around here somewhere as well. But yeah, surely they break through this line. What is that? That's the Grenadiers of the Guard there. They're firing. They should be in melee. They break through here to the French. They broke it through here. Can they side charge or side shoot some of these allied troops, the French of the Brits? Not actually a single Brit here really in this fight. And they have got a side shot there, and that might just rout the Prince George unit. It has, and that might start a bit of a sort of, you can see a domino effect going on here. Britain is in a bit of trouble. But Britain is also doing his own little offensive here on the flank. Marlborough leading the way with the Royal Irish Musketeers, and they've routed multiple units here. We've got the Dragoons going into the side of the flank here, trying to stabilize the Redcoats, who are fighting other Redcoats. The Swiss Guard, they've beaten the Brits. Dragoons going in once again, route another regiment of Picardy there. Got to get these units in. They've got to get these units in, or get side shots with them. But look at that. France has smashed through. We've got, what's this holding the line here? Prince George Regiment of Foot. Where is this Britain? He needs to be just rushing over here. Marlborough's done all he can. He's done all he can. He's nearly out of troops. Artillery's firing in here actually as well. Just seeing that go off. That might rout his own troops rather than the French. As he pops some sort of rally. I mean, I've seen armies rout, though, at like this sort of stage, so France might just give in. He's got army losses might be coming into this a little bit. If they get encircled here as well, which they partially might do if these Brits can get a move on, they really just need to get their one foot after the other boys. There's literally like a few hundred men holding these guys back. 72, 134. There's, yeah, literally no one left. No one left. And there you go, yeah, we're going to see a mass rout. And I think that's got just more to do with that they're getting encircled here. And army losses are coming into it. And that is going to be the Battle of Blenheim. A super, super close affair, that's for sure. Certainly snack-worthy event. And there you go, the French have been defeated. And as a Brit, that only means it's been a good day. But many a Brit has sacrificed their lives for that result, that is for sure. We'll end the battle and have a quick look at the end results. But my gosh, what a fight. Yeah, whether the French just saw like the writings on the wall and just kind of were like, yeah, we've got to go for the offensive now. Britain was going for the outflank, which is why their guys were sightseeing. I could see the logic behind it. It just felt like at the same time they could just rush onto the flank and just sort of, they didn't need to go so wide, I didn't think. But yeah, really, really good fight. France started really strong, as they did in the last replay that we covered, and Britain held on, just about. I'm going to try and get some other replays that don't just have Britain in it. It's pretty hard at the moment, I won't lie. Pretty hard. But yes, this one was sent in by Danilo. I don't think he was playing in this one. But well done to Panzer Grenadier and Taharsh. Did a really good job playing as the Brits there. Well done to Dr. Pyro and Cassius as well. They did a very, very good job as the French nearly broke through. Yeah, Cassius Ragnarok here, I think, doing most of the spearheading. But look at the size of these armies. Yeah, the Brits were outnumbered by quite a bit, 11,000 to about 14,000. So yeah, that's yeah, an extra 3k to go from. Look at this for Panzer Grenadiers. Cuirassiers, 992 kills, insane. Then there's a big drop off to the next unit, 325 kills. 262 kills with the Prince Karl Foot there. 217 with the Grenadier Guards. 201. Very, very impressive. We've got the Foot Guards here with 173 kills. And then there are the rest of his kills there. Even James Butler getting 49 kills. Very impressive from him. Then we have Dr. Pyro playing as one of the French armies, getting 224 kills here with his Grenadier Cheval, his Gendarmes Anglais getting 129 kills, and his Regiment of the Guard France getting 123 kills. But yeah, nothing else getting huge kills really for him today. And then we have Harsht playing as Marlborough's British right flank with Marlborough there. Got absolutely mauled. Marlborough got 274 kills alone. That's impressive. Very well done to him. His Majesty of the Royal Regiment of Foot, 343 kills. The Weddenberg Infantry getting 328 kills. Queen's Regiment of Foot, 259 kills. His Dragoons, 225. More Guards getting 206 kills. His Cuirassiers, 150 kills, I think is the best of those. And his Grenadier Guards getting 116 kills. Certainly not having as great effect as on the other flank, that's for sure, sadly. Then we have Cassius playing as the other French player. I think he was the French left pushing Marlborough most of that game. But his Dragoons, 401 kills. 255 with the Gendarmes Anglais. We then have the French Guard again, 227 kills. Regiment of Grancy getting 170 kills. Then Louis Joseph getting 169 kills. Then the Scottish Gendarmes getting 168 kills. More Dragoons, 164. The Cav for France always just seems to excel. Their infantry maybe less so. Guard of France, 135 kills. Yeah, there are the rest of those kills if you want to have a look at those. Real shame about the Grenadiers, the Guard though, only getting 19 kills. I hope they only lost 5 guys and they just mass routed in the end. But that is today's Battle at Blenheim, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did and want to see more Rise of Empires, do check out some of the videos appearing on your screen now. Some good stuff there. And there might be some other interesting stuff you enjoy as well appearing on your screen. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye for now.